Jada, what's up? Thank you so much for joining me today to discuss your experience reversing IBD and doing it as a pro athlete. Congratulations. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. It's good to be on here. Can't wait to share my story and hopefully inspire a couple of people.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Thanks so much. First off, can you tell everyone what was your diagnosis? Where are you from? And how old were you when you got diagnosed?
Yeah, so I'm from Tennessee, a little small town. I was 23 years old when I got diagnosed, so it was a year ago and about 3 months or so. Diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. I was having symptoms, bleeding, a little urgency and stuff like that. So I got a colonoscopy, and then results came back. It was ulcerative colitis, and then from there, I was put on medication, and that's kind of like the start of it for me.
And I mean, 23 years old, just super young, just getting on with your life. You're also an extremely capable athlete trying to make something happen. And all of a sudden, you get this chronic, incurable disease. To you, was that like, my life's over? Can I still play basketball? What can I do? I mean, how did you take that?
Yeah, it was a lot of questions for me. I was kind of thinking like, how did this happen? Like, did I do something along the line? Like, is it genetic? I just
Hmm.
had a lot of questions. I was never taught about like IBD at all. I never had heard anything about like ulcerative colitis. So it was like a whole bunch of things that were new to me. So when it happened, like I was questioning like, will this affect me? Like going along, like as an athlete, I had one more year of eligibility to play. So I was like, will this affect me? There were a ton of questions in my head. And I feel like as I started to learn more and more about it, I kind of came back and was like, this isn't something that's like a lot of doctors were like, this is an autoimmune disease and you'll have it for the rest of your life. So it was kind of something that I thought of like as chronic. But I think as I started to learn more and more, it was like, this is something that I can actually kind of reverse and like get my body back to what it used to be.
Yeah. Get empowered. The big thing I love about your story is you're 24 years old. You're still a kid in a way, right? Just coming up and very young, and you never knew anything about this disease. You didn't know anything about natural medicine, no experience in natural medicine prior to this, right? Just growing up, living your life, eating what's in front of you, try to eat clean
Yeah.
for sports, right? And you're just focused on being the best basketball player you can be. And now you're a professional player, and you're now living in UK to play professional basketball, right? Who do you play for?
The Newcastle Eagles. We're in like northeastern of England.
Northeastern of England. And so
Yeah.
you left Tennessee, started your career as a professional basketball player. Right as this is happening, you're getting diagnosed with an incurable disease that it's scary to go out and play. Like, I got to go out and think about hooping, and yet I'm also worried about my gut or what did I eat last night and what's happening to my weight, what's happened to my energy. I mean, for me, I was also an athlete too, and it was so scary. Did you have those moments on the court where you were scared, like this might really mess with me, or, I can't go out and play, I can't play?
Yeah, once I got diagnosed, there was kind of a time period of where like I wasn't on any medication. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like I felt like my health was just getting worse and worse. And I could actually tell like in my workouts, it's like my energy's low, like I can't go as hard,
Yep.
weightlifting, like I wasn't gaining any weight and everything. And like as an athlete, I feel like you know your body, like you know what you're good at. And I could just tell that it was like my body was off. And I kind of felt like there was like nothing that I could do about it. So it was definitely scary. And there were times, like right before my season started, where I thought I was like, this might be it. Like maybe ulcerative colitis is like the end to my college career. So there were definitely times where I was kind of very, very scared and didn't really know like what my future looked like as an athlete.
Hmm. Man, I feel that. I mean, luckily you acted pretty quickly. And that's one of the reasons I love your case is because you just got diagnosed. This is all starting to ramp up, but you took immediate action. You started looking online and you started looking at natural medicine and functional medicine combined with conventional medicine. So the doctor put you on Mesalamine. You said, okay, I'm going to try a little bit of this Mesalamine, but what else can I do? And you were watching testimonies just like this, weren't you? Saying,
Yeah.
what's happening? What can people do? Now you're out here doing it yourself. But you didn't have a background in natural medicine, right? You hadn't done strict diets. You hadn't studied labs. You hadn't looked at
Nothing at all.
supplements. None of that. Binders, probiotics, nothing.
No, all of this was new to me.
It's a lot at first, right?
Yeah,
But it
it
should.
definitely was.
Yeah. But now that you look back, are you happy that's a lot? Because that means there's a lot you can do,
Yeah,
right?
for
Like,
sure.
if it's just one, two step, it's like, how is this going to heal a chronic disease? If it was that easy, the doctors would have just told me what to do, right? It's not easy. But
No, it's definitely a process.
yes. And so let's talk about your symptoms before. I think this is one thing that also really helped save your basketball career. Even though this UC was getting worse and worse, you were only still having you're only going 4 to 6 times a day. Me, I was going 20. There's no way I was getting on a court. I might have to pass the ball and run off the court. Where are you going? I said pick and roll. I said pick and bathroom. I'm going to the bathroom. Right? I'm out. And so you had was that right, about 4 to 6? It was starting to get up, but it was not too bad yet.
There was a time period before I started my Mesalamine a year ago. So before I heard about the natural medicine and everything, so my bowel movements were probably, I wouldn't say they were up to 20, they were probably about 10. And
Wow.
they kind of got more controlled with the Mesalamine, but then I kind of had more of a flare up. And this is when I found you guys, and it was
Yeah.
probably around 4 to 6, kind of depending on the day. Yeah.
It was helping a little bit, but you still felt like you needed something. You were lost
Yeah.
in that. And you were having a lot of blood, a lot of mucus, a lot of urgency.
Yes.
You look down, crime scene, like what is going on? You
Yeah.
know?
It was crazy.
Oh, and I feel you on that. And everyone listening feels you on that. You also, I mean, you were losing your energy. You were starting to lose some weight. And so the Mesalamine just wasn't enough. And you said, let me go ahead and try something else. But, when you came in, I think something is, how important was it to have a plan that was built for you in a sense? Like you worked with Coach Taryn. You come in, you got no experience. You're a pro athlete. You're trying to focus on the game. This is like you're trying to get professional. This is your time. This is your moment. As someone at that age, I remember that age where it's like, I only have this chance to do it. I'm not this age. I'm not this young forever. I need to do it now. That's how I felt in my own career at 23, 24. So I'm sure you felt a bit of that. How important was it to have Coach Darren there to help, especially with no experience, help kind of build that plan for you and help get you aware of what you could do about what was happening?
Yeah, for me, I would say it was extremely important. Like you said, I had no background on natural medicine. I didn't really know what ulcerative colitis was. I was trying to learn about it, but it wasn't like I knew everything. And like without her, I feel like I wouldn't have been on the right path. Like I might have had some knowledge, but
Yeah.
without that personalized plan that was specifically for me, like talking to the coach, like, what am I taking this for? Like, what is this helping?
Yes.
Like it made a huge difference. And it was just kind of like a plan. It's kind of like sports, like the coach gives you like the game plan. It was like she gave me the game plan to getting my health back.
And you executed it. And sometimes you swish it. Sometimes you put it off the rim, but you just kept practicing, run the play.
Yeah, it was a lot of learning. It was like, oh, I feel like this is working, but maybe now you gotta, like the probiotics and stuff like that, you gotta try to get a little bit more in, and maybe it's too much, you gotta take it back a little bit. So it was just a lot of, I wouldn't say like trial and error, but it was just like testing everything out, seeing how your body react. But I think like having a plan in there for you, it changed my life.
I love that. I mean, and the metaphor we were just talking about with basketball, it's the same thing. Like everyone knows the rules, but you got to practice 3-4 days a week. You got to practice with your teammates so you get it smooth. You got to make sure you can hit that jumper at 60-70%. You got to practice every single section of, how you box out, like the whole thing. It's the same thing with natural medicine. It's not just, here's how you do a pick and roll and here's how you shoot. It's like, no, I need to practice that over and over again until I can get it to actually work for me and then continue to make sure it works for me. Like even today, you got to make sure your plan works for you. And so it's not ending. It's how do we respond? Like when you get into a game, you got to respond to that opponent. You might have beat them last year. It doesn't mean you're going to beat them again. So that's the same thing as like a new winter, a new year, right? That's why we call it the S.H.I.E.L.D. So I love this case. You've been in the program for about 5-6 months now and, brand new to all this. What are your symptoms now?
Symptom-free. There's no blood. I haven't seen blood in about, I'd say like 2 months. No mucus.
2-3 months? Yeah.
Yeah, no urgency.
1 to 2 bowel movements a day?
Yep, 1 to 2 bowel movements a day.
Fully formed?
Back up. Yep, fully formed.
Energy's up. You gained the weight back. You're at your, quote unquote fighting weight, your game weight.
Yeah, I just feel back to my old self, but I would say a little bit better just because I've learned so much about myself, about like the body, about food, just everything, how to be a healthier person.
2 key thoughts I want to say here, Jade, is how do you do this while you're trying to be a professional athlete? I mean, you can't take time off. You've got to do this and go push your body at the same time. So you need it to work, right? You need it to work, and then you need to go put that stress on yourself to sweat, to run, to push. I mean, that's so amazing that you were able to do that. No experience, come and get those kind of great results. And all you did is just say, hey, I'm just sticking with Mesalamine. No biologics, no immunomodulators, no steroids. We just hang out with a little Mesalamine. Now, the Mesalamine you were already on before the program and it tapped out.
Yeah.
So we know that the program was able to give you these kind of results, and you started getting symptom relief. I'm seeing here that within about a month, your bowel movements went down.
Yeah.
Now, the blood was still there a bit. The mucus was still there a month later. The urgency was still there. That took a little bit more. About 2 months in, the blood and mucus was down. Maybe the mucus was gone. The urgency was almost gone. The blood was still there, about 60, 70% gone, but still about 20, 30% of that blood was still there. And then you made a point that you're like, man, right when I did this, I saw a big change. What was that big change?
Yeah, so you mentioned basketball. So I signed a contract, my first professional contract, to go to England.
Oh, congratulations. Well
So I
done.
signed a contract in the beginning of September. I moved to Newcastle, England.
Wow. And so when you moved to England, you saw within a week your symptoms disappeared.
Yeah. So I was here for about a week. I didn't really change much up about my diet, like I said.
You were
I
running
think
your
it-
shield, running your plan.
Yeah, I think it was
Mhm.
just the food quality that's here. Like you go to the store, you look at the ingredients in the US, it kind of has like a long list, but here it's very minimum. So I just think continuing to eat clean and eating the right foods.
Something's in the water, right?
Yeah, something over here helped.
Something. Well, it's funny because, you know, UK has a higher level of IBD, but I just thought that was an interesting point that when you got out of that environment, you saw something different. And guys, what it also might be is mold. Breathing in mold, and that can be causing GI symptoms. I've seen some members where they leave their house and their symptoms go away. And Jada's like, what? Let's talk more about that. Just a 2 cents Cliff Note thought, okay, for everyone listening. But 1 to 2 bowel movements, you gained all your weight back, you gained all your energy back, you signed your first professional contract while healing yourself of UC. And you did it without adding medication. You did this without any experience. You did this as a young person, just coming out of college. So what would you say to anyone out there listening? You did this with Coach Taryn. Shout out to Taryn. She did a heck of a job. We both agree. I don't think you could have got these results just by listening to trainings, just by going to the program, even though the program is amazing. To have someone there build your custom plan and help you respond, especially when you don't have experience like Jada, is huge. It's vital. What would you say to anyone out there listening? Maybe it's another pro athlete. Maybe it's someone who has no experience and just thinking, man, everything's a scam. Nothing can work. They just want my money. I can't do this, or it's not possible. What are your thoughts now? Because you were watching all these stories. What would you say to anyone out there listening who's struggling, hurting, is in that seat, not sure what to do next?
Yes, I would say join the S.H.I.E.L.D program. I watched the videos and all the things that you're saying, like, this might be a scam. There's no way this is real. I had all of those thoughts, but I just trusted. I was kind of in I wouldn't say a state of just like, I didn't have anywhere else to go, but it was just like such a hard space. It's like doctors are telling you you're going to have this for the rest of your life, and like you're not going to be able to eat this. You won't be back normal. I just had faith. I was like, I know there's a way that I can overcome this, and joining the S.H.I.E.L.D program was the best thing that I could have done. I think that it's important just to have hope. I know I was in a place where I was like, man, maybe I'll just be like this the rest of my life, and I was just down, but joining this program just allowed me to see that like there was an outlet and there's people in the program that are there for you. The coach Taryn, like she helped me so much just creating the plan and just understanding what I was doing, just watching the videos, just the lessons that you would put on there just about how to cook your food and like what seasonings to use, because there's seasonings I didn't even know affected the gut, but just from this program, like I learned so much. So I would definitely say just this program truly does wonders, and it does change your life.
Thank you, Jada. Thank you. And, you know, this is just a couch conversation. We're just being real. That's the most important thing. Integrity, realness, transparency, honesty. You're out in UK, your plan. Couldn't be happier for you. And, you know, what's also important that I'll say to you and everyone out there is you're young in this. You were just diagnosed. Our body still has the ability to respond. Keep learning how to build your shield. Keep making sense of how to be happy and healthy at the same time. Keep making sense of what poisons and toxins affect your body and keep them out. And I have this feeling that you may end up being healthier than everybody else on your team, which could increase your all-star ability to be able to outperform others who are still putting toxins in their body that is affecting their energy, their skill set, their memory, their reaction time, their hand-eye coordination, all of it. And so let's see if we can get you to be healthier than the healthy and even use this experience to catapult you to the highest level of your athletic ability.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that because ever since I started like the S.H.I.E.L.D program, everybody's like,
your teammates like, what you doing?
I'm the healthy teammate, but I think I've just learned like so much about food and like how it affects your body. Like even now I can eat, I don't know, something bad like a burger from like a fast food
Gluten,
restaurant.
crap
Yeah,
cereal.
something, yeah, something like you shouldn't really be eating, and I can like tell like how it affects my body, and then I'll be like, if I eat clean, like I feel fine, like energy, like everything just feels different. So it's just crazy how I can tell the difference now, but before it was like I would eat that stuff, it didn't really like affect my body, but now I can like really tell, and it like makes me just want to like eat healthy and everything and like take care of my body.
Awesome. Jada, thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing your story. Everyone out there, healing is possible.